Hi guys, today we're going to do bump and spike ribbon, and I just want to remind you that there is no app. I am at pattern-collections.com, which is right here. Can you see that in the corner of my pattern-collections.com is the website, and you just go there, go to the search bar and go type in bump and spike. You'll find this easy, right? It's probably also listed under ribbon tangles, would be my guess, under framework, because this is a ribbon tangle, and I'm going to do it on a bookmark size paper. So step number 1 is going to be to draw this sort of like an A, but without making the A. This triangle shape, make a space, another triangle shape, and so forth and so on, and then connect it together with a lump like that. So to me that looks like cat ears. Come up, make an ear, make a head, make an up, make an ear, make a head. That's what it looks like to me, just saying. And then so you're going to have some rows in pencil, okay? Then if you do the next row, when you're doing the next row, do the humps over the ears and the ears over the humps, okay? Got it? So it's like cat ears in rows. And then once you've got your rows of cat ears, that's how I see them, bumps and spikes, but I see them as cat ears, so you know. Then you do an aura, and you keep doing that aura until you've filled up into the spaces here. And as you do that, that just gets this incredible dimension. You're going to shade like this, but see, like that. There's the ear, the bump, the ear, the bump, the ear, the bump, and then coming the next one, ear, the bump, the ear, the bump. See how that goes? And it just makes this really interesting dimension. This one has them closer together, or how is that? Oh, this one has it shaded differently than this one. That's why it looks different. Interesting. So if you shade, just so you see, if you shade down here, see that? It makes them look like little rows. And if you don't do that shading, it looks more like this. These are exactly the same, but they look like somehow they're different. But that's because this wasn't shaded and this wasn't lined up exactly, because it's a curve, I think, probably. It wasn't lined up exactly, so she didn't shade it the same. So it looks different. Well, let's gonna give that a go, shall we? And like I said, I thought a bookmark shape would be a good shape. I'm gonna turn on my lights so I can see and you guys don't get any shadows. I'm going to take my pencil. I'm just going to use a straight edge and really make a nice border. You know, I may gonna do it, and I'm gonna just, no, pencil. Pencil's good to start. I was going to do pen, but I think I want to measure out in pencil first. And now I can do pen. I think I'm going to use a bit thicker pen. I'm going to use an 05. An 05 size for my border and for the main bumps and spikes. And then the auras on the inside, I'm going to use a smaller. I think that will give me the contrast that I want. Remember, you don't have to follow exactly the way I do. You can do your own thing. I'm just showing you how I'm drawing it. This is not the only way to draw. And I want at least 2 rows. I'm just going to do 2. I'm just going to put a pencil line, just kind of, just gently right down the middle, like that. And you know what? I'm wondering, let's see. I don't know why I'm not using my straight edge. I want to make it. Yeah, okay. That's good. So I'm actually going to indicate approximately. Figure out approximately where I want. Sort of an even spacing of my little ears. Something like that. I've just given myself some pencil guidelines. You can do that. And then I'm going to spike. Like that. And then bump like that. Okay, bumps and spikes, little cat ears. And then I want to bump here and spike here. So I'm going to spike there. So in between, over the bumps, is going to be the spike. And a bumpity bump. Like that. Okay, perfect. Now, the point of this is going to be to aura this. And I'm going to get a thinner pen. I want a really big contrast. So now I'm doing the 0.5, 0.05. And I'm going to aura. And now you can just watch me aura while I talk about the steakhouse on the Carnival Splendor. We went for our anniversary celebration on the first day on board. That was awesome. And then later in the cruise we went to the steakhouse cooking demonstration, where they give you a little sample of what they cooked, and they give you some recipes of some of the things that they cook in the steakhouse. Well, I think I've discovered that the ingredient that I really like is truffle oil. Who knew? Because the two things that I thought were the best things that I had, and one of them was mushroom soup, and I don't really like mushrooms, but the mushroom soup was astounding. And maybe it's because I don't like the standard American button mushroom that you get at the grocery store. I imagine, I don't know where you would get these mushrooms. You probably have to go to a specialty market, maybe an organics market. I don't know. We don't have many things like that near us. But they used like 5 or 6 different kinds of mushrooms that I'd never heard of before. I mean, there was one that there were 2. I think there were 2 that I'd heard of before. You know, like your standard portobello, and then the little button cap ones. Those are the 2 that I'm familiar with. But they had all these other mushrooms I'd never seen before, and I couldn't possibly remember their names. But yeah, crazy. The mushrooms in this soup, and then when the soup is all done and blended and everything, they drizzle some truffle oil in there. I think it's the truffle oil that I really like. I've never had, that I know of. No, I can't say I've never had, but I had no idea that that was the main ingredient. And then, or not main ingredient, but you know, the crowning glory. And then when we were at the steakhouse the first night, I had the mac and cheese. Oh my word, it was the best mac and cheese I've ever had. Mac and cheese is not usually a glamorous dish, but it was at the steakhouse, let me tell you. And I discovered at the cooking demonstration that, once again, they use like 5 or 6 different cheeses in the mac and cheese. It's not just plain old cheddar. And at the end, they drizzle some truffle oil in there. So I'm thinking maybe it's the truffle oil that I really like. I don't know. Of course, mac and cheese with that many different kinds of cheeses, especially cheeses that I don't normally purchase, would probably be also part of it. So they had the mac and cheese, and they had them in these little was about this big around, so about maybe 4 inches. Yeah, about 4-inch around. Little cast iron, almost like a ramekin, but it was cast iron. It was really cute. And then they put it in those little cast iron dishes, and then topped it with some more cheese, like shredded cheese, and then put it back in the oven and the broiler to crisp up the cheese at the top. Oh, it was so good. And I had filet mignon. It was so big. I can't eat that much. I wanted to eat that much. I was trying so hard to eat everything, but I can't eat that much. My stomach isn't that big. It was so soft and buttery, the steak, that I could almost cut it with a butter knife instead of a steak knife. It was so soft. It's really good. And because we chose to go on the first night carnival, when you do the first night steakhouse, they give you a complimentary bottle of wine. So we had a bottle of wine with our dinner. It was just so nice. Just so nice. And then of course we shared that dinner with our friends. It does cost extra. It's one of the few things that cost extra on the ship that it's not included, but it was well worth it. Another of my friends got I think it was called the cowboy steak. Oh my word, it was huge. It must have been, gosh, it was the size of, it was probably 8 inches, 7, 8 inches long. It was huge. Huge steak. He was thrilled. It was definitely not for petite eaters, that's for sure. And what's really cool about it is that it's all like one price. So when you go, you know that you're going to be spending that price. It was it's gone to up a little bit. It's now $38 for the steakhouse. But you know, for your $38, you can choose anything on the menu that you want. Okay, there's that part. And then the next one is to do this again. The only bad thing, and it had nothing to do with Carnival or the steakhouse, was that there were these people at this table next to us. They were just the rudest people. Oh my word. You know, they go to a fancy steakhouse where they know they're spending almost $40 a person, right? And the food was absolutely magnificent. And these people are swearing, they're using the F word, they're loud, they're obnoxious, and then at the end of the day, the one guy decides he didn't like his meal and he wasn't going to pay. What? He ate the meal. You ate the meal and now you're not going to pay. He was so rude, and he said he didn't like it, and they came over, the head person came over and said, you know, what else can we make for you? We'll make it over. We'll do whatever it takes to make it right for you. And he says, no, I don't want it. I don't want to eat here. I don't want it. You guys have ruined my dinner. You've ruined my cruise. I mean, just obnoxious people. Holy guacamole. And as it was, this group of people, our reservation was for 8 o'clock. I think it was 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock? 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock. And we got there about 7:45. And they weren't quite ready for us, which is cool, because, you know, our reservation was for 8 o'clock. They were waiting to clear a table, because we were a group of 6. I think if we were just a couple with 2, they would have had a table available for us. But since we were a group of 6, we had to wait for the previous people to be done, which is that's fine. And these people came in, and their reservation was for 7 o'clock. And it was almost 8 o'clock when they were just getting there. And I think that threw everything off in the room. It was crazy. Anyway, they were just not nice people. And then to top it off, we heard them later while they were in brunch or someplace at Lido, say that they were going to do the sushi place later in the cruise. And it was like, really? You don't seem like sushi kind of people. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And you don't even really have to shade that. Looks like I'm running out of battery, which I have already forgotten how to. I've already forgotten how to record, and I didn't pay any attention to the fact that that's backwards. It should be, I should be going the other way with this. Oh well, too late now. I already started. I knew this didn't look right. See, going up into here, it should be the other way, but that's okay. But really, people, if you're going to go to a fancy place for dinner, don't be using the F word. That's just rude. And don't be making them stink. And don't be saying you're not going to pay for your dinner after you've eaten it. These people are they were just being rude. Bump, spike, ribbon. Bump, spike, ribbon. I'm going to do a little bit of shading, but I'm not sure that my camera won't die on me. So if it just goes blank all of a sudden, you'll know that I didn't have time to sign off because my battery is blinking at me. So just in case. I'm trying to work fast. Carnival also has this other thing called the chef's table, but that's got way fancier food than I think I would want to eat. This is like a 10-course meal or an 8-course meal or something, including all the wines that go with all the different courses, and you actually get to go through the kitchen and have a tour of the kitchen, and depending on which ship, some of the chef's tables are like in the galley. Not all of them are like that, but some of them are. But they're in a very fancy special table, and you eat with the chef. And it's amazing, but it's really expensive, and it's fancier food than I really prefer. I'm good with the steakhouse. That's fancy enough. And apparently, I like the truffle oil. Okay. That's cool. It needs a little bit more right here. If I can get there before I run out of battery. Right there. That little, those little spots. There we go. I did it. I got it done before I was all lost my battery. Alright, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a great day. Next week we're going to do, so you have an idea of what's coming up, we're going to do tie bow, trellis mask, and tri-spin. That's what I have decided on for next week. So excuse me. You have a great day. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.